How much is the league going to miss not having Connor Bedard playing in the All-Star game this weekend?
Yeah, it's really unfortunate. It's kind of palpable around the league, the fact that they're not going to be able to show him off. There's some disappointment there. But in terms of viewership, I'm not sure how much of a difference it'll make. So far, since Bedard has gone out with an injury, there's only been one national game on TNT. The Blackhawks' schedule in terms of national TV was sort of front-loaded, so they're not going to bear the brunt of it in terms of viewership quite as much as they would if it was more evenly distributed. But I know the Blackhawks are hoping to have him back, well before the end of the season, so they should be able to get at least, one or two more national TV appearances out of Bedard.
No, I'm sure Gary Bettman wants him back, and if there's flex schedule built in for either TNT or ESPN, ABC, I'm sure you're going to see some Connor Bedard Blackhawks worked in here in the back half of the season. But like you said, I'm sure it would have been some sort of uptick to the NHL All-Star number. I think last year was around 1.5 million, not a record low by any chance. But this game hasn't drawn above 2 million since, I think, 2018. So you really want to develop that sort of star power to see if you can really up that number. It's not going to be what the MLB All-Star Game is. It's not going to be what the Pro Bowl is. It's not going to be what the NBA All-Star Game is. But if you can get faces and get names that people recognize, I think the NHL would love that. Hopefully he's back next year. Alex, speaking of the All-Star Game, the NHL has kind of implemented a new format this year for the telecast along with ABC, ESPN. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, there's a lot of excitement among hardcore hockey fans, and I think that there's a lot of hope in NHL offices that some of these changes will bring in some casual fans as well. They're bringing back their player draft for the first time since 2015, and this year they're incorporating celebrity captains for each team. So Justin Bieber is the biggest name. He'll be there with teaming up with his real-life good friend Austin Matthews from the Toronto Maple Leafs. Also, Michael Bublé, Will Arnett, and up-and-coming pop star Tate McRae are other celebrity captains. So those folks all have their own followings and could potentially bring in some interest on the player draft, which is on Thursday night. That's an added night. They've extended All-Star Weekend from 2 nights to 3. And then the skills competition has gotten really stale the last few years. The canned skits and pre-recorded events out in different locations have not gone over particularly well and have made that tough to watch. But they've really done a overhaul of the skills competition. They're doing a sort of decathlon style format with 12 players who are competing as individuals through all the events for $1 million. That I think is going to be really exciting, and I know in hockey circles that's sort of the night of the weekend that everybody's really looking forward to.
I mean, you talk about the forced stuff in recent years. I remember watching that targeting competition that they were doing in the fountains of the Bellagio, and I remember watching it just feeling like, yeah, maybe a little forced. So I am curious to see if the skills competition is well received by fans, well received by audiences. I mean, you see it a lot, especially on the baseball side, the home run derby catching up to the actual All-Star game number, getting really close in recent years. And you're also watching it on the basketball side to see if NBA Saturday night matches what the All-Star game is able to draw. So can the NHL and ABC, ESPN do something similar with the NHL? I'll be watching to see how the numbers perform.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Austin, but I really don't think there's a lot of competition for the All-Star game itself at 3 p.m. on Saturday. So they have a good opportunity there, I think.
No, you're right. It's a good window for them. There'll be some college basketball, but the Pro Bowl isn't until Sunday. I think it continues to be a good window that the NHL chooses to have the All-Star game.